What's going on, DSG? It's your boy Donald Bradley back at y'all another video. Today we got 100 people versus a gorilla. The honest truth. Alright, so I had seen this moving around a lot on social media. Going crazy. I have no idea where this generated. Who said this first? Why this is like the man and the bear shit. Like why do we keep trying to put ourselves up against animals? Like, can we just like not? What the fuck do 100 people got a beef with a gorilla for? Why do we care? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and then the girl, oh, would you choose the man or the bear? You know what? I would be more worried about why you're in that situation in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you do to get him? In this situation, what did these 100 people or the gorilla do to be in that situation? I don't know. But anyway, it's been a question. I personally am giving it to the 100 people. I know gorillas is like that, you know what I mean? But I think 100 people could coordinate to kill a gorilla. This is what I'm saying. To one gorilla, you know what I'm saying? People can coordinate how to move that. You know what I mean? Like, just in the wild, there are packs of a lot less who take down a lot bigger. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like humans with the more evolved mind could get it done. I'm not saying they'd all live, but I'm pretty sure we can get it done. But that's neither here nor there, because even if I was a part of 100 humans, the fuck? No, okay. Oh yeah. Be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on all that there social media, and we ain't here without any further ado. In 3, 2, 1, click.
So recently, all of social media has been blowing up with the debate of one gorilla versus 100 humans. The funny thing is that everyone seems completely divided onto who would win the fight. One side thinks that the gorilla would pull a Winston and just completely thrash the army of humans with ease, while the other side believes that the sheer numbers would let the humans just beat up the gorilla like it's Naruto. But
I don't think they would just beat up the gorilla. There would be more ass whooping to go around. You know what I mean? But I don't think they would all be like running up trying to punch the motherfucker. They would coordinate. I think they have to hold the motherfucker down. So, you know what I mean? There's enough people to do that. But all right, let's go.
Who is actually correct? Is a gorilla versus 100 people actually a fair fight? Or is it actually a stomp? Does the gorilla win? Or do the humans? Let's find out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's jump right in. Now, to begin, I think it's important to establish both sides of this fight. For the gorilla, we are assuming that this is essentially the strongest gorilla possible. Of the 4 gorilla species, easily the largest and strongest would be a silverback eastern lowland gorilla. At the absolute largest, gorillas can stand at over 6 feet tall and weigh between 400 and 500 pounds, with the largest—
That's a big ass. It's okay, all right.
Ever being about 600 pounds or even beyond. However, this fails to capture how a gorilla's overall proportions drastically exceed that of a normal human, with a wingspan of over 8 feet, drastically more muscle mass, and far less body fat. In comparison to the peak gorilla, the group of humans will be made up of 100 average people. There will be no boxers, nor MMA fighters or athletes, and instead it will just be 100 totally normal people with totally normal physical stats, with their—
I see what you're doing. I see you because it's one gorilla, 100 people, so you give one the most while you give the other the average, I guess. But I feel like in a realistic scenario, it would be 100 average people against an average grown gorilla. I know that seems unfair, but it's 100 people versus a gorilla. It's, you know what I'm saying? But and in these terms, we'll see what's up. Let's go.
There being an equal number of men and women. Now, technically, average height and weight varies somewhat drastically across the planet. So for this video, we'll be taking the stats from just Americans when possible. This means the 50 men in the group will be on average 5'9" and almost 200 pounds, while the 50 women in the group will be on average 5'4" and 170 pounds. Now, to be fair, Americans are kinda fat, so ultimately using the statistics of a healthier nation doesn't change these values very much, or the outcome in my opinion. Still, either way, the gorilla is going to be far larger than any single human, exceeding them in height by a couple inches and being casually twice the weight of the average man. Also, just so we're all on the same page, this is what 100 people looks like. It's definitely not a small group, but it's also not a massive crowd by any means.
I think I'm putting the gorilla right in the middle of that. Average people against like the gorilla on planet Earth that is that nigga. The Gorilla King. Could they do it? See, I'm looking at it like them. Could they do it? Oh man, you know what? Now that I see the 100 people, because yeah, you get. I feel like there are a lot more women in this picture. You gotta split. It's gotta be 50-50 between men and women, I guess. Look, if you're just taking the average, you know what I'm saying? It's just scoop them up and dump them. If there's more women in the group, your chances just they drop. It is what it is. What you want from me, okay? It's a factual statement. But like, I still think they could coordinate and get it done. They could coordinate and get it done. Yeah. Hold him down. Or at least get his arm. Get something. You gotta make sure his head is got. You know what I mean? Don't get bit. Gotta take his eyes out first. Get in the position to take his eyes out first. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he ain't got other senses, but that's what you gotta go for first. Make it more difficult. Maneuver. All right.
A lot of college lectures have more people than this in them. With that being understood, who wins this? Determining the true strength of a gorilla is incredibly difficult for multiple reasons. Firstly, gorillas ultimately are not a predatory species, so in comparison to something like a bear, a wolf, or any of the big cats, they rarely, if ever, go out of their way to attack humans. Secondly, unlike for humans that will willingly do experiments to test the limits of human strength, doing the exact same thing is almost impossible for gorillas because they're not just going to do a bench press for a couple of bananas, unfortunately. This forces most, if any, estimations of gorilla strength to be just that, estimations based off of their bodies and the very rare instances of strength that we have seen from them. Thirdly, there is a lot of hearsay and misinformation regarding gorillas, with most online sources claiming completely different stats for what gorillas are actually capable of. Finally, a lot of info about gorillas that does exist is oftentimes really old. The biggest issue though is that inconsistent information. For example, one website says they can lift 1,800 pounds, while another claims they can lift more than twice that at 4,000 pounds. Things get even more wild when these resources put it in terms of humans. Some claim that a gorilla is 8 times stronger than an average man. Another claims that they are 4 to 10 times stronger than a human.
8 times, 4 to 10 times. Like, I mean, one just gives you the number. The other one says the number's hidden in here. The other one just gives you the number that's hidden. Okay.
Another source claims 12 times, with another claiming that gorillas are a whopping 20 times stronger than a human.
We're all over
Clearly,
the
the only consistent thing agreed on here is that gorillas are stronger than humans, but this much variation in number between sources is enough to say that these numbers are completely made up or very unsubstantiated. So let's look to what actual researchers have said about gorillas, or what we have actually seen them do in real life. Consistently, gorillas have been seen uprooting thin banana trees, shattering protective glass, and have broken human arms in brief attacks. Smaller and weaker primates like chimpanzees have shown feats of strength 2 to 3 times stronger than that of a normal human, around 800 to 1,200 pounds, given that chimps are less than a quarter.
The results are not wholly barren, however, showed. Okay.
Quarter of the weight of a gorilla. Suddenly, the 4,000-pound claims look slightly more valid and would approximately make them 8 to 10 times stronger than a human being lifting wise, though strength and weight don't exactly work like that in a 1-to-1 ratio, clearly. Looking back to older information, the statements get harder to verify, but could also be potentially more legitimate, as these were real interactions in the wild. We have accounts from 19th century explorer Paul Chalu recounting gorillas snapping and bending metal guns with their bare hands, or even an older account from explorer Andrew Patel that recounts that 10 people were unable to pin a gorilla down. Finally,
So, luckily we have 100. Luckily we have 100. You know what I'm saying? I think 100 people can get it done, get them pinned down, and we can get them eyes out. You know what I'm saying? But okay, all right.
Finally, we have more speculative calculations around things like gorilla bite force and punching strength, which is incredibly difficult to calculate without, having the gorilla punch something that actually measures the force. Still, even the most lowball calculations put the gorilla's strength at around 881 joules of force, with the highest being 3,660 joules of force. In comparison, humans output only about 74 joules with their punches, which would make the potential difference in punch power anywhere from around 10 to 50 times. I don't think really speed is something we really need to talk about here. It isn't like other power scaling topics where either side is a blitz difference faster than the other or anything like that. Gorillas and humans are simply comparable in overall speed, with the gorilla being a bit faster in bursts of muscular power, though such speeds aren't exactly sustainable. So overall, gorillas are stronger, larger, heavier, and more powerful than multiple humans combined. Either way though, are the humans cooked? Let's get into it. Now, in a 1v1, 2v1, or even 10v1, I think the gorilla could pretty easily take it. From everything we've seen, from historical accounts to estimates.
10v1, we're cooked. All right? I can see that. 10v1, humans are cooked. But we got 100, though. We got 100. Okay.
A gorilla may legitimately be around 10 times the strength of average humans, making all of these random articles potentially correct even if they were just yapping. Single strikes and bites from a gorilla is going to be breaking bones of whoever is unlucky enough to be in range. As they tend to do, they can also easily grab, lift, and pull around any human they manage to grab.
Yeah, I'll be damned if a nigga hit me with another nigga. That would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie. We 100 people versus one gorilla. We get caught in that situation. A nigga grab you and hit me with you. I'ma probably be done. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm looking at my self-preservation options. You know what I'm saying? Now he's swinging you around, cause I know I ain't the only one that he used you to hit with. You know what I'm saying? So while he got you using you as a bat, I might have to, you know what I'm saying, pick up whatever part of me is over there, like some teeth from when I got hit, and just kind of bounce. You know what? The teeth might have to stay there. I go to the dentist, get some new ones, something. But I might have to reassess. Even in like 100 people, I believe we could do it. But as long as I'm a part of that particular scenario, well, here's the thing: if there was a way to just get away, I wouldn't have been there in the first place. So you know what I'm saying? I need a way out after I get hit with another person. I need a way out.
Furthermore, most attacks from a human are simply not going to legitimately harm a gorilla, the difference in the basic lifting and punching power being so immense that,
like I said, we gotta pin him down, get to the eyes.
The person punching the gorilla would probably...
And then we work him slowly. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get him to expend his energy, because at some point he gonna get tired. You know what I mean? He can't see. He got it. You know what I mean? And where are we at? Are we like in a cage? You know what I'm saying? Or are we in the wild? Or are we in some kind of terrain thing? Can we hit him with a rock? I don't know.
Difference in the basic lifting and punching power being so immense that the person punching the gorilla would probably hurt their hands more than the gorilla's body. But as the number of humans increases towards 100, things get worse and worse for the gorilla for multiple reasons. Firstly, fatigue. Gorillas are not used to, nor are they really built for long, drawn-out fights. Most conflicts between gorillas only last a couple minutes at most, which is actually true for most humans as well. But while the gorilla might tear through 20, 30, 40 people, boom, there are still 60 humans the gorilla has to beat in order to win. Secondly, in this fight, strategy and coordination genuinely matter. For this fight to even happen, we kind of need to ignore the concept of fear for both sides. If a gorilla saw a group of 100 humans, they are very likely not going to attack and just run away. On the other side, if most people saw a gorilla beating up a dude, they're not going to jump in and help out.
Especially if they beating that dude up with another dude. Because then you just like, well, I'm either going to be assaulted or I'm going to be used as a weapon. I don't want any of these things to happen. So
they are also running away. With that being said, if both sides legitimately want to beat the other with full conviction and no other options, 100 people can pretty quickly coordinate to absolutely bum rush on the gorilla, who simply would not be able to attack every person at once, even 20 people at once. Which brings up the third thing, weight. For as strong as a gorilla is, especially a potentially tired gorilla is simply not strong enough to hold off the weight of a coordinated group of humans. At the mid-end estimation of 1,800 pounds, even just 20 200-pound humans would be able to pin down a gorilla, with the only claim to the contrary being from a guy born in the 1500s. Would people get hurt and probably be killed in this effort to pin him down? Probably. But again, there are 50 dudes all prepared to do this, let alone the 50 women. But pinning isn't enough. The gorilla would need to be defeated, and even without tools, humans should be able to actually hurt gorillas. While human punches are far weaker than the apes, human kicks are overall far stronger. It can range from over 3,000 to over 4,000.
So we literally have to kick its ass. All right, cool.
1,000 joules, which is actually stronger than gorilla punches from a pure energy output standpoint, as crazy as that sounds. So while yes, one guy ran.
We got to stop that account. Yo, that's crazy. So that's the gig, right? We coordinate a way to pin him down, get the eyes out. Just because that's what you're gonna do while you're down there, and then stomp him out. Okay, damn, it's gotta be like that. That's crazy. When the only route you got is to stomp him up. It's like no extra maliciousness. This is just the circumstances we got put in, and the only way I can get it done. Okay.
Randomly kicking a gorilla would probably do nothing. Several dozen people all kicking at a gorilla's head while he's already pinned down would eventually take him out. So yes, 100 humans could beat a gorilla. If gorillas were truly a threat to literally 100 humans at a time, there would be far more stories of gorillas actually, killing humans, while we have stories like this for elephants or bears. So bottom line is this: humans most likely win, but you don't want to be at the front of the crowd when you're staring down a silverback.
That part. See, she's smart. We chilling. We ain't gonna be part of the first wave. You feel me? That's all I'm saying.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you to my members, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
Yo, hey. That was dope. What was that dope here? I feel very, very educated. Well, not really very educated, because I knew like a gorilla wasn't taking 100 people. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I shook a little bit when I actually seen 100 people in that picture. I was like, I don't know about Barbara. I don't know about Barbara. Barbara and Steven, they might have to go with the first wave. Oh yeah, but I don't. Why is this a debate? Why? Who is generating these animal debates, bro? I wonder what the next one's gonna be, because the first one was the bear thing. Now we got the gorilla thing. What's the next one gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Who can outswim a shark? I don't know, man. But y'all, this was cool. That's the take. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me on all that there social media, and I catch y'all next one, fam. Peace.